Mr. President, we are about to engage in an historic debate, and that is over whether or not the Canadians, a Canadian oil company, should be allowed to take the dirtiest oil in the world, the Canadian tar sands oil, to have the United States accede to the construction of a pipeline like a straw through our country, which would then go down to the Gulf of Mexico with no promise from the Canadians that they will not export the oil from the United States. So the issue which is raised, of course, is what's in it for the United States, since there's a very small number of jobs for our country once the pipeline is completed. We understand why the Canadian company wants to do this. If they can get that oil out onto the global marketplace using the United States as the conduit, they can get a dramatically higher price for that oil. We understand their motivation. But what's in it for the United States of America? Because ultimately, we have to decide what's in our best interest. What my amendment says is that if this pipeline is constructed, that the oil stays here, that our country gets the benefit, our consumers get the benefit. Otherwise, it's not about energy independence. It's not about North American energy independence. It's about a Canadian company exporting the oil, using the United States as a conduit, as a straw, as a pipeline. That's it. What's in it for us? The American people right now are enjoying historically low oil prices. They love it. It's like a tax cut to every American. If this Canadian oil gets exported, you better believe it, it's going to act as a spur to raise the price of oil. The more oil that's here, the better for us. The more oil that leaves our country, the worse for us. Give you another number if you want to know, because this is a Canadian export pipeline. The United States of America right now is the leading importing country for oil in the world. We're number one. We import net about 5 million barrels of oil a day. We're number one. We're the number one importing country. Then comes China, then comes India, then comes Japan. 5 million barrels a day. How can we be exporting oil when we're the leading importer of oil? And what countries do we import the oil from today? 2015. We import the oil from Saudi Arabia, from Venezuela, from Iraq, from Russia, from Nigeria. How can we be exporting our young men and women in Europe in uniform over to the Middle East in order to protect these ships coming in with oil in them and simultaneously be exporting oil out of the United States while we're still importing 5 million barrels of oil a day? That's what this debate's all about. It doesn't make any sense. This is the dirtiest oil in the world. This oil is going to dangerously add to the warming of the planet. And the Canadians, the American Petroleum Institute, they won't promise that the oil stays here, even though their ads on TV say it's all about North American energy independence. And so we have a huge choice that we have to make here, ladies and gentlemen. Do we want to help our economy? Do we want to help our national security? Help our consumers, help our manufacturers by giving them this lower price of energy, which, except for labor, is the number one component in industry in the United States, to keep that price low? The Markey Amendment says, yes, that oil stays here in the United States of America for our own strength, our own economy, our own consumers, our own job creation, and not be sent off onto the world so the Canadian oil company can get a much higher price of that oil while we take all the risks. We would not be Uncle Sam. We would be Uncle Sucker if we did not keep that oil here. I reserve the balance of my time.